Welcome to GAC Time. Where we discuss all things General Hospital. So put your feet up, get your teacups, get your snacks, and let's begin. General Hospital recap for Friday, April 10th, 2026. We had a bunch of folks in this episode. Let's see what our favorite bunch of characters are up to. Rick and Sonny were having a conversation. Sonny was bringing up how he was concerned about Danny, and he was just like, just because he told him no, he know Danny is Sam and Jason's son, so he probably ain't gonna listen to that. So he was telling Rick, I think we need to reach out to Alexis and let her know that Danny came over here. The funny part is that both Rick and Sonny is like, I'm not doing it. They don't want to do it. So Sonny was like, he told Rick, you go over there and tell Alexis what's going on. And he was like, you sending me to the Lions Den? He said, why can't you do it? And these two are funny. So they both scared of Alexis. So finally Rick was like, okay, he's going over to tell her. Then they start talking about Sidwell. And Rick is not convinced that Sidwell's going to back off. I don't know why Sonny is convinced in his head. I guess because Sonny thinks I've been through this. So he knows that Sidwell eventually will see reason and see that Sonny wasn't involved in this. Maybe, but Sonny is more reasonable than Sidwell. Sidwell kind of has some delusion sometimes. You can see when other things are going on. If he wants things to be his way, he just makes it his way, I guess, makes it that reality. So I think Sonny is underestimating Sidwell. I think Sidwell is riddled with grief, and unless they have actual proof that Sonny didn't have anything to do with it, I don't think he's gonna back off from this. So, at the end of it, Sonny was kind of telling Rick, I put security on all the family, including you. So it's funny because Rick was kind of pushing like, oh, well, you just did that because of this or that, but he was like, no, I did it because you're my brother. So they're really trying to build this relationship. Like I said, I hope Rick is on the up and up. I hope he ain't secretly working for Sidwell or something crazy, and that these two relationship keep going because I do like seeing Rick and Sonny together. Brennan and Carly are, Brennan's getting ready to leave after their night of passion, I guess. And then, Brennan is kissing on Carly and he's just like, saying all these things. I'm glad you forgave me. I'm like, get out. I just wanted him to leave. He's just lingering and lingering and lingering. I'm like, oh. Anyway, he finally leaves, right? And then it's so funny. I don't know where Valentine showed up from. He was in that doorway like like what the heck? Where did you come from? And he was just like, oh, he's just jumping on car. He said, I see you probably gonna turn me in. So what happened was before Brennan left, Carly asked Brennan why they still looking for Valentine, which is a valid question because I was asking that same question, like why are they still looking for him? But Brennan is convinced that that Valentine has some information on Sewell and what's going on. But Valentine seemed to have the same information that Brennan and everybody else has, right? He doesn't have any extra information. But we all know Valentine. He may have something else that he knows that he's not telling anybody. But I guess because Carly asked that question, he thinks that Carly's trying to find out stuff so she could turn him in later on after she get what she want. But Carly was just like, no, I'm not trying to do that. And then they start going back and forth about, because he was like, oh, the way you were looking at Brennan and stuff like that. Then she looked at him, she said, are you jealous? And he came right out and said, yep. I was like, oops, excuse me, Valentine. So yeah, he said he was jealous. Carly is just like kind of like, what are you jealous for? She says she also feels guilty because she's using Brennan to find out the stuff she could tell that he truly loves her. I'm like, so what? This guy, he got her daughter into this ridiculous agency, can get her hurt and all types of stuff like that. I don't care if he's in love or not. Carly better stick to her guns and not mess with, get rid of Brennan when the time is right. Anyway, with that, Valentine and her had a big old hoo-ha, and then she told him that basically that she's not interested in him, that he need to get over it. So he went up to his attic. She's down there, and then she started thinking about when they was together, her and Valentine. Girl, stop it. You want to be with that man. It'd have been kind of weird if she had just got with him right after Brennan. But Brennan gotta go. He has to go so we can get some Valentine and Carly and forget all this other nonsense. But we will see what happens with this. But Valentine is upset. Carly's upset. Hopefully these two can mend whatever this is that they got going on and stop with what's going on. The not liking each other. I don't like that part. I want to see them together. Is it wrong? I don't really feel sorry for Drew. Like I see him in this state. And I'm like, yo, this is really messed up. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I just don't feel sorry for him. I'm actually quite happy that we don't hear him yapping as much as we did. I'm hoping when they do finally bring Drew out of state, he's not so ridiculous like he was before, because it was just too much. All right, they need to pull back. He could be an evil dude without having to be in everybody's face. That was so irritating. Anyway, Willow's in there, talking about her drugging him up and stuff like that, and talking about how she loves being a congresswoman, and she's doing such a better job than he did, because all he did with his job is used it for personal vendettas, which is the truth. And she's just yapping on about stuff. Drew can't do nothing but sit there and look at her and blink his eyes. So Nina knocks on the door and she comes running in. She sees Drew there. She's like, I need you to move him because I got to tell you something. But it was funny when she came in, Drew rolled his eyes. I was like, he could still got some expression in there. Nina was looking at him. She was like, this is creepy. I need to talk to you about some things, and I don't need him just staring at me. I was like, dang, Nina, that ain't right. So Willow put him in the other room, and they start talking about how Brennan is wanting that information from Charlotte about where Valentin is at, and if he don't get it, he's gonna release that video. So Willow's freaking out, and she's like, "You got to do something and do it fast." So Nina feels some kind of way because she doesn't want to portray Charlotte, but Willow's basically telling her, "You need to pick me over Charlotte." But Nina comes up with some kind of plan in her head. She's like, she got it, right? She know how to get Brennan off her back. Nina goes and meets with Brennan, and Brennan is threatening her. He's like, you better hurry up because my other person comes through with the information before you. I'm releasing this video. And Nina, said, listen, if you do that, you know who ain't gonna be appreciating that? Carly, because she gonna know you had that video this whole time. And then she ain't gonna never forgive you. Now, there's some truth in this, but on the other hand, Britney could release that video and it won't even seem like he did it. Right? It's like, so I don't know what she's saying. I don't know what this plan, maybe because Nina say she'll go over there and tell him it was him. I don't know. But I was like, this plan's kind of weak. Nina, I don't think that's gonna work. I think Brennan is gonna tell her, get that stuff or this video gonna be out. So we're gonna see what happens with this. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. So at the hospital, Laura went to go see Curtis because Curtis been there all night. We finally got an update on Jordan. Jordan has come out of surgery. It seemed like she survived. They was able to get the kidney. No problems with her kidney, but she's going to be in the ICU. There was a TJ mentioned because he did say he spoke to TJ on phone, which is good because they be acting like Jordan ain't got no son. TJ just disappeared in the mist. And, he was like, he had to try to hold it together as he was talking to TJ, but he's tired and he's just drained, right? Which is understandable. So he was telling Laura some of his story and he was kind of like, he said Jordan was in that car for an hour. I was like, what? That don't even seem like no hour. How was she in there for that long? And he was just thinking maybe he might have did some damage or whatever when getting her out of the car. But Laura made a valid point. He was like, if you didn't get her out the car exploded. So he was like, you did the right thing, regardless if you moved her the wrong way or not. Sewell comes in and he wants to talk to Curtis, right? So Laura cut him off at the pass, which is understandable because at first I was, Laura's looking at him like, what are you doing here? But Jordan does work for Sewell. It makes sense that he would show up there, but he wants to ask questions about who Curtis thinks, well, did he see anything and things like that. So Justine came and Sewell was trying to talk to her, but she was like, no, she wanted to go straight to Curtis. So she was telling Curtis, her and Jordan recently had become friends and she was just checking in on her. Laura asked Justine, could she go talk to Sewell because he wants to find out some information, but she wanted to keep him away from Curtis because Curtis was tired. He ain't got no time to be speaking to Sewell. So Justine went over there and was talking to Sewell. Here goes Sewell. I know who did it. It was Sonny. Sonny did it because look, he did that to my son, and now he's trying to remove Jordan because Jordan is important to his business. Now here goes the thing. We all know it wasn't Sonny because that's just stupid. Sonny ain't running nobody off the road or getting anybody to do that. But he may be right about one aspect. Jordan is part of his business. Jordan was a former police officer. So she was looking into who hurt Marco, right? So at first I'm thinking Brooklyn or Isaiah, but what if it was somebody else like Nathan or Pascal? Because Nathan might have did it because he remember he didn't want Britt to tell him anything about Cullum being involved in this and stuff like that. He might have took um what's her name, Jordan, out of the picture because Jordan got connects and she can go around and ask people so just to find so that she can't find out what's going on. It could have been Pascal because Pascal don't want Sitwell to find out that he had anything to do with that. Column maybe, but now that I think about it, it's a strong possibility that it's one of these other folks. I think I'm gonna do one of those feature videos or something like that this weekend, and just kind of we can look at the suspects because I think this might reach out further than what we're thinking. So with that information, Sitwell leaves and Justine calls Sonny. So I guess she wants to tell Sonny, listen, Sitwell ain't backing off this theory that you had something to do with his son, and now he's thinking it's Jordan too. So we'll see what their conversation is later. Molly and Cody. So Cody is taking his job to the 100th power. He said he was going to take care of Molly. He's carrying her from room to room. Molly's like, okay, this might be a bit much. But he was like, tell me you don't like it. And Molly was like, no, it's okay. She does like it, right? So she likes him being, waiting on her hand and foot. He was making sure that she wasn't in any pain, getting her heating pad and all that kind of stuff. It's funny because Molly says she is constantly in pain and she's been putting it off because all she's been doing is she'll work through it. That's not no way to live. You know what I'm saying? So she says she's happy that she went and got the surgery so she could be out of that pain that she's in. While they were there, her book came and she was looking at the book and stuff like that. So her and Cody started talking about, she was telling Cody that whole thing on the roof when they got locked in there and stuff like that. She was like, that was the start of everything. And then she realized, he rescued her and took her on the horse when her car broke down. And she realized she started liking him. And, it would inspire her to write that book. But she did tell Cody if there's anything in that he doesn't like, let her know. She will adjust it right now because this is like the final edit stage. So Cody was like, no, he's okay. So I'm glad they got past this book thing because that was so silly. Anyway, Molly and Cody seem like they're having a good time. They need to leave that like that for a little while. Let her have a minute. There's a few couples. I'm like, let them have 5 minutes. We know this is so planned. They're gonna throw somebody in the mix, but let these people have 5 minutes. Nice to see a nice couple together and they having a good time and enjoying each other. So, guys, what was your favorite part about this episode? What was your least favorite part? Let me know down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about my theory that it may be Pascal or Nathan who may have run Jordan off the road. And let me know if you think that I'm just straight crazy or do you think that's a possibility. So, guys, don't forget to hit that bell notification and to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel. And thank you for joining us again at GHT Time. Till next time, bye.